You are listening to Chaos Springs Eternal, a Delta Green actual play, brought to you by Quartermasters of the Tabletop. This is Season 1, City of Woe. Delta Green, by its nature, deals with violent themes and disturbing imagery, as well as horrors beyond our comprehension. Now, if you're one of those people who don't mind comprehending some horrors from time to time, I think you'll have a good time listening here. Join us, won't you? Hello and welcome back to Chaos Springs Eternal, Season 1, City of Woe.
Wow.
There we go. Back on track. I definitely didn't mess it up the last time. But
We know.
anyway.
You can't prove it.
Yeah, they probably will. I don't know that I was thinking about that edit,
I'm taking you
how
to
much I would
court
have to
for
do.
it.
And I was like, maybe I'll just let that one slide. But we'll see. I don't know. I did a bunch of editing today, and I was sort of like, okay, I never want to edit again. It sometimes grinds on you, just wears on your soul. But speaking of wearing on your soul, you guys got it's the holiday season, y'all. And by the time that this is released, Hallmark will have dropped probably, I'm gonna guess, 7 Christmas movies.
Homie, they're already playing.
Oh,
Yeah.
are they? Oh man.
Yeah, they start that shit before Halloween now.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, that's, you know what? I am a Hallmark Christmas movie watcher, but not because they're good, just because I like watching them. I have a whole spiel about why I enjoy them, but I was thinking like what my go-to holiday movies are. There's a lot, but one that actually my wife introduced, and so we watch this one probably like 2 or 3 times during the holiday season. It's While You Were Sleeping. You guys ever seen this one?
While you were sleeping?
Yes. It's about a guy who falls on the train tracks and develops partial amnesia
Oh.
and falls in love with a girl, allegedly, who actually falls in love with her brother. It's a whole thing. Very good, rom-com.
Yeah,
Honestly, like way better than most of the rom-coms out there. Some absolutely fantastic lines in all of it. I quote it all the time because it's got so many great actors and just so many great lines. There's one that I always get. I always tell my wife, I'm like, "Is that guy bothering you?" Because he looks like he was leaning. It's just like this one moment in the whole thing. It just cracks me up every single time. But the greatest scene, if you go Google right now, While You Were Sleeping, kid falls off his bike, it gets me every single time I watch it. It is so funny. I don't even know if it was planned to be in the film or if they just saw this and decided it should go. One of the peak moments in all comedy. Go check it out. But
Wow.
Tyler, you got a favorite holiday film, Christmas or that otherwise?
Yeah. So I am not a personal fan of the Hallmark style Christmas films like you are. But there are 3 Christmas movies I always watch.
Sorry, I just watched that kid fall off the bike. Sorry.
I'll watch that later. I'll watch that one you're giving yours so I can rudely interrupt with a laugh.
Sounds good. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Perfect. No, you're fine. No, so there's 3 Christmas movies I watch every year, and they are Elf, Nightmare Before Christmas, and The Muppets Christmas Carol. I
Good.
adore all
Good.
3 of those.
Those are all good.
All
Especially
fantastic choices.
Yeah.
Muppets Christmas Carol is like a weird comfort movie for me. So all the Muppets movies are weird comfort movies for me.
They're good.
Yeah, definitely. I think that one is my number 1 pick, though, for sure.
Did you ever
Honestly,
watch
Muppets Christmas Carol might be the best adaptation there is.
Yeah.
Oh,
honestly,
easy peasy.
seriously. Yeah. Yeah. Have you ever seen the behind the scenes making of Elf?
Yes.
Yeah, it's really cool how they were like, we're either going to do this and it's going to become a holiday classic. And that's
Or it's going to be dog shit.
Or it's going to be dog shit. And they're like, we're going to make this a holiday classic. That was their goal setting out. And they were right.
That's awesome.
I think
Early
what
Will
really
Ferrell.
helps is I don't think there was there any merchandising for Elf?
God,
I
bless
remember
him.
I'm sure there had to be, but
I'm
it
sure
wasn't
there
like
had to be.
obvious, right?
Right.
I think I
And
had
it's-
a Buddy the Elf, and it was just like it was an elf that vaguely looked like Will Ferrell.
Maybe one of
Yeah.
those snow globes.
And secondly, I don't know, have there been Elf sequels?
No,
There's not been an elf sequel. No.
That I think
there might be
that
like
I
some
think
shitty
preserves
direct to
the
sequel thing
integrity.
or direct to DVD.
Yes.
I think
Yeah.
in my mind, I connected the Vince Vaughn Christmas movie to that movie.
There's a
Fred
Vince Vaughn
Claus?
Christmas
There's a
movie?
Vince Vaughn one.
Yeah, Fred Claus.
Fred
Claus.
Claus, yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, it's where he's
Like
it's
the brother.
He's
Santa's brother
he's
or
Santa
something,
Claus's lesser known brother who does nothing.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Yeah, it's like with the Santa Claus, the first one is pretty great, but I feel like it's tainted by the fact that they made 30 more of them.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
at some point you guys have to realize like this is no longer like a good
Wells
idea.
Run Dry,
Yeah.
brother.
Yeah. Mark, what about you? You got any favorite holiday films?
Every year my wife and her family and we all go to a local theater, like a local whatever stage, etc., where they have plays and things like that.
Yes.
And we watch Christmas Vacation with a bunch of other people. And it's my
That's a good
favorite
one.
movie. It's my favorite Christmas movie. And it's sort of like being at like the Rocky Horror Picture Show, because they all say all the lines all the time and there's certain things that happen, and it's amazing. And we try to do it every year. People always get dressed up as, Cousin Eddie, and it's just the best. It's the best.
That
And,
is the movie that we put on Christmas Eve when
Yeah.
we're like, sorry, spoilers for all the kids out there. When my wife and I put out all the presents,
Right.
we put out, we put on National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, and as we
Yeah.
said everything out, and it's always great.
Yeah, and it's funny because my wife and we work together in the same building. And so every now and again, the floor will be wet somewhere, and we'll be walking down the hall, and I'll be like, "Why is the floor all wet, Margot?" And she goes, "I don't know, Todd." And that's like our little inside thing that we do. And we have sweatshirts that have that saying on them, matching
God.
sweatshirts. It's good times.
You guys are
Well,
a
some
different
kid nearby.
breed.
I couldn't make it to the bathroom.
I also say to some of my colleagues, bend over and I'll show you a lot. So
Mark.
a lot of HR complaints.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
I do
You
the
guys-
hallelujah, holy shit, where's the Tylenol? that's my go-to.
I say that unironically all year long. Though. You are a different breed, Mark. That you can do that, like gonna go see a movie and then everyone has their own like the Rocky Horror thing. I can't fucking stand that. It's
I love it.
I don't know why. Like I can watch a movie with a couple homies and we can riff on the movie a lot, and I love that. But as soon as it's like 30 people being like whore, whenever they see Janet or whatever on Rocky Horror, it's just like I don't know what it is.
To be
But
fair,
you-
Rocky Horror takes it to
To
a
be
degree
fair.
that it does not get taken to at any other, like those movie concerts or whatever. It's not that bad. It's just basically
okay.
watching the movie in the theater, where every now and again someone will say a line, or like, it's just kind of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Noah, what about you? You got a holiday
Die Hard.
go-to? Die Hard? You're
Die
of the
Hard.
opinion that Die Hard is
Ho, ho, ho.
Listen, the argument has been done to death, right?
Ho ho ho! Now
Ho, ho,
I
ho.
have the machine gun.
Yep.
Sincerely though, honestly, earlier this month, my partner and I went out and saw the 30th anniversary at the theaters of Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh man, I bet
But
yeah.
it was really good.
Mhm.
It was really good.
It was really cool.
But watching it made us realize how we want to go see the Adam Sandler Grinch. Not Adam Sandler. Sorry, no. That's a different movie.
Jim Carrey.
You got
Jim
Sandler on the
Carrey
brain.
Grinch
Oh,
movie.
I just had a vision of an alternate universe where Adam Sandler was the Grinch. Whoa! I'm sorry, my brain is splitting.
That is
Oh no, we
horrific.
just created the Mandela effect.
Yeah, that is
That's
a
the good
horrific
timeline.
No, that was the bad timeline. What do you mean? The Jim Carrey Grinch movie is a classic.
You can either have Jim Carrey. You can either have Adam Sandler playing the Grinch, but Jim Carrey has to play Little Nicky.
Oh boy.
Oh,
Yeah, they
no.
just
It's
swap
that
they
time.
swap
Hang
roles.
on.
Yeah.
Join us if you join our Patreon at the $10 tier. You can listen to our Sandler swapping, where we take every week we go through the entire repertoire of Adam
Swap and
Sandler and
say it.
have him swap with some other actor. The first episode, obviously, is examining Jim Carrey and Adam
sure.
Sandler, having them swap.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting overall.
Mhm.
Gosh,
So that bit went way too long.
yes. Well,
It barely had it did not go long.
it
We're
went,
at 10 minutes. We're good.
15 seconds.
Yeah, that's 15 seconds too long.
Fuck off.
Speaking of bits that went too long, last episode,
Oh boy.
you guys,
Dude,
let's
that
see,
outro
Marcy,
was the coolest thing I've ever heard in my entire
Oh man,
It
did you
looked
guys
I'm gonna
so
find-
cool.
I'm
just the
gonna find
word
'cause
picture?
Mark has given some cool music. He's found a lot of sort of the royalty free music, and so I'm gonna find like the coolest track in there, and it's gonna be
Good luck.
under there, and you guys are all gonna be like, yeah, this exactly evokes the mental image that
Yep.
it would be. Anyways,
In my
so
mind, it's the Duke Nukem like dunna 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 dunna.
that would be that would be good.
first, Marcy went and checked on her old Uncle Barnabas, who revealed that he had injured his arm doing some work, allegedly, on his underground bunker outside of Carrefour. And he was, taking a lot of Tylenol, obviously in a great deal of pain, and got nothing out of him. He's obviously a relatively reclusive guy, but he did question you to see if you were going to be available later and if you had any plans on leaving town, which you did not. So he seemed satisfied with that. And then we found our way to the metaphysical bookshop, the Ethereal Essence Emporium, run by the rather striking Luna Blackwood, who y'all talked to for a little bit to get some of the history of the Coven that is around Carrefour. After you danced around some of the questions about the Babineaus for a little bit, she was able to fill you in on maybe the whole story behind Colette and what exactly happened. With
She
all
had a
of that.
startling amount of information about that.
Almost like she is part of this, group of witches who has a secret history that they've been writing about the town.
Some might even call them a coven.
Some might even call them a coven. And then as you had stepped out after learning you got the info dump on what had happened, essentially the idea that being that after Colette's stillbirth, that the Babineaus had attempted to use some sort of occult means to revive the child for apparently a couple days. After running Colette off, Sawyer treating her poorly, let's say abusively, that something came on the house or him, and Colette went back. She was going there to cast some sort of spell on the house, and that was the last that the Coven had heard from her. And Sawyer had passed away a couple years later. It appears that what she intimated was that whatever this sort of child spirit is something to maybe have tormented Sawyer or maybe torment Colette, with the reminder of what they do not have or did not have after losing the child. So y'all had stepped out to sort of discuss your game plan, remembering to talk about Clementine and what you needed to do, sort of thinking about like, well, what can we reveal to her? Should we bring her to the manor itself? And when you step back in, she was looking into a crystal ball and revealed that she was in touch with Clementine or was aware of what had happened to Clementine and realized that you had come here to gear up, which you kind of did tell her at the beginning, so that wasn't like totally out of nowhere, because you had mentioned that you wanted more of the secrets, and then you had mentioned that you kind of wanted something to cast out ghosts or deal with that sort of thing. So and then reminiscent of many an 80s montage, she had stepped out into her shop and began walking through the back aisles where there are a variety of esoteric implements that you can purchase to presumably exorcise a ghost. Does that cover it? Did I miss anything?
No, it sounds right.
I think that was all of them.
So, when it comes to exorcising ghosts, what do y'all think you are wanting to pick up from this shop? She's got some ideas, but I'm curious, as players or as, PCs, what you're thinking of. Like, what would you be searching for here?
Gun that can kill ghosts.
Gun that can kill ghosts.
More seriously though, just something to ward off, just protection.
Okay.
So, like the standard is like sage, right? Burning sage creates salt. We've already figured out that does work after a fashion, correct?
Mm-hmm.
To a degree.
Yeah.
Leads to a pile of clothes on the floor, weirdly enough.
Yeah.
Sometimes dust.
I'm never gonna hear the end of that.
No. We're gonna be 60 years old and be like, "Who are you?" Like, I don't know. Remember the dust pile? Ah, clothes.
How old do you think 60 is, Tyler?
And I was thinking the same thing.
My dad's
I
in
don't
his
know, man.
60s.
It's like 5 years for Mark. Like,
Oh, you son of a.
Oh, God.
I bet 60
Yeah,
years from now, but still.
okay, all right. Well, that's much more reasonable. Yeah.
Especially since there's an age gap between us. Anyways, I think Joel is looking more. So one, kind of like what Marcy said, like wards and protection and stuff like that, but also trying to find ways that is a little more agnostic. So someone who is not necessarily a preacher or a man of faith of some sort can do that, because Joel, being Christian and having grown up in a Christian household, both in character and in real life, that's like the only way I know of. Like, I've seen the movie and it didn't work out for the priests.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to prevent that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as the only explicitly Christian podcast out there,
That's right.
I am a little disappointed that you guys didn't immediately jump on bringing on Pastor Guidry. But, that's fine. Whatever. It's fine. I'm not bitter about it.
Some of us passed on it.
Anyways,
that is true.
I'll say it.
All right. So so she is walking through the aisles and she says, well, you'll need something for your personal protection. These usually work quite well. And she pulls down 3 sort of pendants that are some sort of quartz crystal wrapped around with copper and on a nice little necklace. She says, as for exorcising the ghosts, can you describe a little bit more about your interactions with him? That might give me a little indication as to the level of activity here.
Hi.
Yes?
Hi. No,
Hi.
H-I-G-H.
High activity. Okay.
Yeah. It threw Marcy down a hole. It created a hole.
It also threw a chandelier at myself.
Threw books at us.
Oh, so we're looking at something poltergeisty.
It spoke to me.
We'll call it Polter Plus.
Polter plus.
New
And
category
it's-
unlocked.
It's just you 3 going to face this by yourselves? Well, okay.
For now.
Real quick, did we discuss informing her that we have some help from other or something else? Because, like,
No.
You had kind of mentioned
No.
showing the amulet.
Yeah, that was it, though.
yeah,
But not
that's what I
that
mean.
was
like
it.
where it came from.
Yeah.
I mean, if we show it, she's gonna be like, "Hey, where'd you get this?" We just starts talking in tongues, and she's like, "Ah."
We got it
she
from
says-
Priest.
Yeah, that works. Do you guys show her the amulet?
I mean, Joel has it around his neck. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, yeah. Do you?
Just-
well, no, like
Is
he's
it
wearing,
hidden?
like
Yeah.
he's hiding it in his shirt, but he'll pull it out and be like, "So, like, is this gonna help us in any way?"
Her eyes go wide, and she's like, "Whoa, I've never seen anything like that. What is that?"
It's a necklace.
She says, "Yeah, yes, I can tell it's a necklace. Thank you."
We
It's
we were
I'm sorry. Do you want my help? You've all been quite
Yes.
cagey this whole time. I think
I
that
have not been
after-
cagey. I will say that. I have been
Yes.
very honest.
Yes, you've been very straightforward, Cyril.
I've
Thank
been very straightforward with you.
We found this, and through a little bit of research, we think that it could help with whatever is keeping Colette and the other spirit inside.
you. Saw Colette?
We've seen multiple sightings.
She spoke to us.
Y'all don't need human to see that she. It's a little bit of like the fascinated but sad, little sorrowful. She says, I didn't know I didn't know her spirit was still there. That's I haven't seen her in the crystal. Must be some interference. But no. Anyway, yeah, I don't know what this is, but I mean, if you have to undo what Colette did, that looks. She says it's just I can feel the energy coming off of it. It's almost like vibrating alive. It's I don't know where you said you got this from a priest, or just from your research.
Of a
Did you make this?
No, God, I
It was
wish.
not crafted
No.
by our hands.
Oh wow, this is powerful, very powerful. That's that. I don't even I couldn't make that, and I'm pretty proud of the things that I make. So, she pulls down some sage, and she's like, "This should help flush things out, but if they're stuck in, if the ward is protective, then you maybe don't want to get them out. So you'll have to actually get rid of them, which usually requires some assistance from let's call them the holy credentialed, the
Yeah, I
Oh,
looked
so
into
we do
trying to
have to
get
get-
like credentialed online, but it was fruitless.
yes. Well,
Wait, okay, so I'm sorry, I'm new to this. Even in your magics, and he kind of like pauses and looks at her like, correct word? Like, reading her. Yeah, okay.
she shrugs and she's like, yeah.
We still need a priest.
You don't strictly need a priest, but you may need some holy. If this is, I mean, poltergeists, they're demons from hell. Obviously, maybe not a literal, hell, but like metaphysically hell. So, the exact opposite, being holy water. You would need something consecrated, something holy, some powerful symbol, either from you or maybe I don't know, something from the life of whoever, the life of Colette. If I don't know that she left anything, but I mean, I'm not saying that the sage might weaken it enough that you could then, try and hurt it with other things. And she's sort of going around, and she pulls out she goes through some of the ritual items, and including like candles and like various charms, and she pulls out one of these athames, which are these daggers with this intricately carved hilt. She's like, I don't know. Obviously, I've not. Listen, ghosts are. I don't deal with ghosts, and never dealt with a poltergeist. But if you weaken it enough, maybe just stab it with this. Energetically, that would seem to maybe be enough to kill it. I don't know.
Just keep stabbing.
Just keep stabbing. Or if you had some holy water to dip this in, maybe enhance things.
Interesting.
There's a strange flower that grows in a grave out back. Could that be anything useful to us?
Is it?
It's not
belladonna?
necessarily the flower itself that is strange, but just like the fact that it's the only thing that seems like persistently growing there.
Maybe. I don't know. Does it have anything to do with Colette?
Possibly.
It has
pretty
to
sure.
do with that ant, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, for our recollection, it was on the
grave of Marie Angie.
Marie
Yeah,
Angie, thank
she-
you.
Which
Yeah,
is the
so that would
matriarch
be,
of the family.
yeah, that would have been Margot's great grandmother?
Probably great grandmother. Yeah. Maybe grandmother. Let's call her grandmother.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, grandmother.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely related to the Babineaus at minimum.
I don't mean to be weird about this, and I feel like I'm always playing devil's advocate here, but I mean, no offense, Luna, you're a lovely person, but we don't have any, other than you'll say so, we don't have any idea that the Babineaus are some sort of magical family, right? I mean, you would think that they would have other things. I don't know. It just seems like if they were so prominent in that way, like there would be other stories about them other than this, than just trying to revive a dead baby.
Listen, there are other things, but you kind of have to read between the lines when you're searching. I mean, the whole how the manor was built. How'd they get that land? How'd they just happen to invest in the right things at the right time? How did the manor become such a popular place? Why did so many of the rich and elite go there?
Mm-hmm. I see what you're saying.
You're right. Not a lot got out.
Yeah, and it's like if they're trying to revive dead babies, that's a whole different type of magic than I invested in Walmart back in the day. You know what I mean?
You know, Cyril, it may not be much different than what you're thinking.
No, maybe not. Maybe not.
But I don't know much else except that they had to have something going on, and it's possible that they had stuff that was powerful enough to cover it up. And it was only when they came up against the Coven that we were able to retain some of that evidence.
That's true. We're kind of caught in the middle of a lot of things right now, and it seems like everybody wants something out of this manor suddenly. And
yeah. Well, I can tell you this. If you go track the downfall of the Babineaus, it started with that baby. And it started with what they did to Colette.
All right.
And
well,
everything that's
like
happened
I said,
since.
I believe you.
Everything that's happened since, they've deserved it all.
Have they wronged you in some way? It seems very personal to you, other than, them taking on your coven and, ostracizing one of your former members. Is this more personal than you're letting on?
You could make a hument on her, or maybe like I don't know. Are you trying to persuade her, or are you trying to read through her emotions?
I'm trying to read through her emotions. I don't think I'm trying to persuade her to tell me that.
Yeah,
I'll just do
ahead.
human.
I know we've done human, like that was the last thing we did, but you could make another human.
And I failed it. 98 over 63.
Your last was 100. This one was 98. That's, yeah.
I know. I hate Roll20. It's Roll20.
Keep rolling them.
Yeah. She
eventually.
She says, listen, she was part of my coven, and as far as I'm concerned, the ties between family are not even as strong as the ties of the coven. And those women are important to me, and not just the ones who are here, but the ones who've gone before.
I get you. Oh no, that wasn't meant to be offensive. I just want to know what's going on with you. So
she says, I have never had anything against Antoine or Thaddeus or any of the other Babineaus personally. Obviously, they've never done anything against me, but that's not to say that they have a right to everything that they have, right?
Yeah, I feel you.
And I'm not saying that people should take that away from them. I'm just saying we need to deal with reality. And when a family has, just the abuse that they put her through, smearing her name after they hired her, after he impregnated her, she didn't deserve how she was treated, how she was outcast.
Agreed.
So
I feel you.
I think that bitterness can stick around.
Linger. Yeah.
And if I can't honor her memory by remembering how poorly she was treated, then Who will?
Does Cola have a last name that you know
She says, yes. Yeah. Yeah, her last name is Malakota. Colette
of? Malakota.
Malakota.
All right, well, so what you're telling us, we need some sort of holy stuff. So it looks like our handler is trying to get us to go talk to the priest.
Just,
Get
I
some,
made it
baked
clear you don't
goods.
have to go talk to him. Maybe I'm
just
personally
kidding.
offended. I gave you guys the out of like going to like a local Catholic parish. There's one without,
We
there's
can,
one
Okay.
we can probably buy
less than
like
an
a
hour
cross
away.
and water.
Let's go do
at
Gidry. Just
Walmart.
Yeah.
let's do Gidry.
If you
It's
See
if
if
the one
he'll
that the two
bless
of us
some
go
water
to.
for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you mentioned Clementine is fine.
She is around. She is safe. She's not dead.
That's what I needed.
I think.
Where is she?
Where did you said that you drew salt around her? Right? Is that
That's correct.
where was that?
At the manor?
At the manor, but where is she that you're communicating with her? Is she just in there? Just we can't see her? Some sort of etherealness?
She apparently can project a little astrally. I didn't know she could do that. And she looks at you, Joel, and she's like, "You didn't know that she's a member of the Coven, did you?"
Oh, fuck.
What?
She's just been very on the social side. So imagine my surprise when I got someone reaching out to me just now. She must have known you were here.
No, I didn't actually. No.
Yeah, I never really pegged her as a true believer. Right? That she basically came as like the book club part of things. So, go figure, right?
She has a lot of fingers and a lot of pies. I'm gonna be honest, I'm kind of glad that I know now instead of before, because I thought she would have been a bit of a kook. No offense, but it's a little much.
Joel, you've bought books from me.
Yeah, man, but like ghosts are one thing, but like this? All of this? This is kind of crazy. I've always believed in spirits and the other side, but witches and magic, that was fairy tales.
Joel, why do you think we have fairy tales if they didn't have some utility at some point?
Why do we do anything?
So on hearing that Clementine has reached out to her via this crystal ball, I think everyone's going to make a sanity check. I think that
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's an appropriate.
Yeah, that's
request.
fair.
I disagree.
Well, too bad.
Here comes my 97. Oh, success.
Fuck.
You
Duck.
failed.
Yes.
Well, that makes sense.
Yes.
83 over 59 for me.
Okay, so Marcy just a regular failure, Cyril with a success, and Joel with a fumble. So let's go ahead and this is a 0 for a pass and a 1d4 for a failure, and with a maximum of 4 for a failure for Joel, which I really appreciate. Yeah, so Marcy, go ahead and roll that 1d4. Let's see how you do. Oh, only one.
Hey!
There you go.
I rolled a 1.
There you
There went
go.
all that sanity
live
I got
forever.
from doing drugs.
Yeah. So I don't think you're at a breaking point, right?
No, I'm still 4 away.
But how does this affect Joel? What is? I mean, what's going through Joel's mind right now, aside from what he's externally just said?
I think internally it is that he always felt like everything Clementine did he knew about, and not like in a like, oh, I'm the brother, so I have to protect my sister, even though she's the older one, but more just that he always felt that she was very open with him and anything that she did, and kind of not like having that kind of destroyed to a degree is weird. But
Yeah.
also at the same time, that's what he's done to her, so he's kind of balancing that out.
Yeah, I like to imagine, this is just a suggestion. I imagine there's also a little cognitive dissonance where you're like, oh, she's okay, but also like she's I did do something to her, right? Like this is still, I don't know. Does Joel feel any guilt about like what he did?
No, I don't think
Okay.
Joel feels guilt because he did what he thought was correct in that instance. And I don't think Joel is the kind of person that feels guilt in acting on instinct that is in his mind founded.
Cool.
He's not like, he's the, if you will, in the movies, he's the leader that's willing to do the thing that no one else will if it really comes down to it.
Yeah. Okay, good. I'm glad I asked that, because that definitely does give me a little more insight into Joel's personality, and hopefully our listeners as well. I try to be a little cognizant where I'm like, you feel this, and so if I'm ever like, you feel this, and you're like, no, I don't, definitely tell me.
Yeah, I think the only thing in this instance Joel feels guilty about is like assuming that she was so open to him, but he never was to her. That's the only guilt he feels in that instance. But yeah.
Interesting. All right. Well, she packs up all the stuff, and she's got the books that are like generic books, and she's like, if you still want these, you will have to pay for these, but these supplies, let's call them gratis. I hope that you will, I don't know, maybe give me a shout out on the show sometime.
Oh yeah, we could
advertise.
Definitely do that.
Yeah.
I have one last thing.
Sure. What?
Is there anything in here that would not so much banish, but maybe capture the essence of a spirit leaving?
That's an interesting proposition. I've never really thought about that. She like looks back around. She's like, there's a handful of these crystals that might do, and she like sorts through she's got like a big box of various crystals of various shapes and sizes. She's like, most of these are just focuses for meditation, for cleansing energy, but you're thinking of like almost like a jail, like a spirit jail.
Yeah, like something with a matrix in it that can hold something.
And she
hold the essence of a ghost or a spirit or something along those lines.
She pulls out, finally finds. She pulls out this interesting triangular shaped thing that at first looks like clear crystal, but inside there's like a spiral of some sort of metal, maybe copper, and at the base of it, sort of like some sort of maybe some garnets, various minerals, garnets, labradorite, a couple black minerals that are just sort of thing, but it's shaped like sort of maybe a fist size pyramid. And she says, have you ever heard of organite?
I have heard of morganite. I've not heard of, is that what you said, or did you say organite?
Is it organic in nature?
No. Organite. It's a little interesting material. It's this rosin matrix that's got this metal and various crystals embedded in this rosin. And the idea is that it's supposed to attract things to it. And the idea is always, attract the good, or well, it's actually supposed to attract the negative. It attracts the negative energy, so that you can only experience the positive energy. Now, I'm not sure, but I don't put much in this. Have you heard of Wilhelm Reich? He's the one who came up with this idea of orgone energy. It's the thing that it's this omnipresent energy that permeates all living organisms, and it resonates at, I don't know, some specific resonance, and the Schumann resonance, it's the Earth's heartbeat.
Like a noosphere?
I don't know what that is, but sure, kind of. He actually created these boxes that were called orgone accumulators, and you were supposed to sit in them, and they would kind of draw out all the negative energy from you, and it was supposed to make you all healthy and everything. And this is sort of a mobile adaptation of that orgon accumulator is this organite, this human-made mineral matrix.
Interesting. Well, I will, if you don't mind, I will happily pay you for that. If I could take that off your hands for you.
Please do, she says as she holds it out to you.
Yeah, and well, what's it worth to you?
She says, I don't know, coffee sometime.
Oh, how about dinner instead?
That would be lovely.
All right, well, after we're done banishing or capturing demons, I'll be sure to give you a ring. Stop by the store sometime. We'll set something up.
I would love that. And I would love to hear an after-action report.
Oh, for sure.
Like I said, I've not dealt with ghosts before, so that's wild. I didn't know there were ghosts in Carrefour. Listen, I'm a true believer, right? But I've just not had that experience before.
Yeah, we haven't either. Today was last couple of days have been a real roller coaster for us. So,
well, I hope that your eyes have all been opened thoroughly, and well, Marcy, you're always welcome to join.
I believe for now my interests lie mostly in the mundane. I appreciate the offer.
She says, we'll see if your mind's changed at all after this experience. Maybe after some time to process it.
Perhaps.
Well, thank you all for coming in. This has been a far more interesting day than I was anticipating. But I'm not a psychic.
Could have fooled us.
Yep. And
Could have
then
fooled a lot of people.
We all get hit by a Jeep. That's the end.
One last thing.
Yes.
Are you familiar with a field overlapping the entire town of Carrefour?
No. How do you mean?
Does she hear that?
Yes, she does. I think that's vague enough.
It's generic enough.
Yeah.
You should look into it. I am not at liberty to give more information.
She says, I mean, you mean beyond the ley lines?
Yes.
Think a dome.
Dome. Okay.
Its designer intended it to be protective in nature.
Yeah, I don't think she heard that last part.
Oh.
Yeah, I think that would be verging. Like the generic description of a dome is fine, but once you talk about having a designer, that would fizzle out. She says, "Okay, a dome. Well, I'll look into it. I haven't noticed anything, but I've not been looking for it. So, go figure. I would assume whatever it was just a result of the ley lines, right? I showed you the map.
Are things at
maybe.
work in Carrefour that we all need to tread carefully on. We will be in touch.
Okay. We will see you then. See you later. I look forward to hearing how it went.
If we survive.
I hope you do.
She knocks on wood.
To be fair,
never leaving this bookstore.
I don't know that poltergeists can kill people, and you're like walking out the door. I've never heard of them killing people before. Bye.
Bye. Goodbye.
On the way out, Joel will turn to Cyril and say, "And I expect an after-action report."
Oh, a gentleman doesn't. I don't kiss and tell now. Come on, please,
gentlemen. I like the way you think, there, big boy.
Hey, I gotta maintain appearances here. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Name me 4 women who you haven't slept with.
Well, I've been meaning to call your mother.
Zing, got him.
Wow.
Damn.
He'll shake his hand at that one. Good play, sir. Excellent.
No
gambit.
problem. So what are we going to do? We're all armed to the teeth, the esoteric teeth, if you will. What are we heading out there currently right now?
While
you guys
we are
need to
writing this
prepare
live,
for
we should
anything?
probably
Or
obtain some form of holy water.
Yeah.
Not it.
Do you think that's something you two could handle?
I can handle it.
I just
for sure.
claimed the old adage of not it, so yeah, it's going to be Joel.
All right. I'd like to go home real quick. I gotta take care of something.
So Marcy and Cyril go home, and Joel swings by the church.
Yep, he'll go directly there. He'll leave everything except for the necklace. He's always gonna keep the necklace on him as much as he can.
Yes.
And he'll bring in just like 3 bottles of water, just like generic off the shelf drink water.
Like Evian, yeah.
Yeah.
So we're still
No,
talking
something
like
cheaper.
Fiji. You got some Fiji water.
Poland Springs. So we're
Yeah.
talking like this is still probably 4:00 now, I would say.
Mhm.
Gives you time to have had your sort of morning shift, and then spending some time with everyone at the mall, coming by the church where Etienne Guidry is setting up for the Tuesday night men's service. As you come in, it's like, oh, well, hey Joel, how's it going? Men's service isn't until 6, but you're welcome to come help set up. Or do you need to talk?
Yeah, actually I do, and I'm hoping to get a bit of assistance as well.
Okay, yeah. What can I do you for?
You know that Cyril and Marcy and I have a little bit of a show going on.
Yeah. I'm familiar with the show, and something we, I'll admit, a bit of a guilty Saturday morning, enjoyment. Maybe some people would look down on pastors dabbling in those sorts of shows, but I find it entertaining. It's impressive what y'all do, and you guys do a good history of some of these areas, and I think even if some of the effects are a little exaggerated for effect. It is nice that some of the history that would otherwise be just discarded is kept alive. I can appreciate that.
Yeah, I really enjoy that part of the work as well. I just have one thing I need to bring up.
Okay. Shoot.
I think this time we're a little more in over our heads.
Oh, I mean, like production budget, or what do you? How do you mean?
Less physical, more metaphysical. We're nervous that we know we've encountered something. I'm just gonna say that right now.
Oh, okay. You really have encountered some phenomenon.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Yes, there's something in there. I'm not gonna spoil anything until the show comes out, of course.
Of course.
But I think Cyril and Marcy and I would be a lot more certain in our safety if we have a little holy water, just in case it's a little less human spirit and a little more something further south.
Oh, okay.
I was hoping that you might be able to bless. I mean, I don't know how it works, and I just have a couple of bottles, but
yeah. Well, I mean, that's a little more on the Catholic side, but I there's nothing to say that I couldn't. I don't. There's no. I'll be honest. There's no specific strict ritual in the church but there's nothing to say that I couldn't offer a blessing and bring that in. I mean, that seems perfectly reasonable. Or at least I also offer a little prayer of safety overall. How's Marcy recovering, by the way? How's her legs and back, all that?
You wouldn't even know.
Wow. That's good to hear. It's good to hear.
Miracles in every walk, right?
Well, we've got some good doctors and we've got some good faith. I think those two are a great combination. But he looks at the bottles and he's like, yeah. He sets them down on like the pulpit that he's got. He opens them up. He says, I feel like these should be open when I do this. Just, I don't know. But like I said, there's no strict way of doing it. And he says, trying to think. Okay, all right. And he, puts his hand sort of over the waters just generally. He says, God, please bless these waters that have come from thy bounty, so that they might be holy and consecrated against all thine enemies. We pray. Amen. And
amen.
Seals them back up and hands them to you, and he says, listen, I don't know what they do over the Catholic Church to consecrate the water, but I believe God hears their prayers just as much as he hears ours. And so I don't know what you expect. Treat them obviously with a little bit of reverence, but
yeah, of course.
I'll be honest. I'll have a note for the journal tonight. That's the first time I've ever done that.
glad that you can at least start a ritual if it needs to come around.
Well,
Might be in your name eventually, Father.
What would you say?
I said it might be named after you eventually.
Oh, well, yeah, well, the blessing of Etienne. I don't know. I wouldn't leap at that honor. I'm just trying to do what I can.
I greatly appreciate it, and if you can keep the three of us and Clementine in your prayers for the next coming days, that'd be something I can't repay.
Of course, we'll make sure the congregation keeps you in our hearts and prayers for sure.
Thank you. And he'll shake his hand.
Yeah. He's continuing to set up a few chairs and that sort of thing. He says, now, Joel, listen, I don't mean to pry beyond, but I really do think that this men's group would be something good for you. We deal with all sorts of things. We deal with men who have trouble in their marriage, have trouble with their jobs, have trouble with, and he looks at you and he goes,
addiction.
All sorts of troubles. I really think it could help you. And when he does that, there's it's almost like a change in his face, and you swear for a second that his eyes go all black. He says, but we could really use you here, Joel.
What color were Glomus's eyes when he was in his god-awful shape?
Did Joel see that? I'm trying to think.
Yeah, he screamed like a little girl.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Let me go look back at the art that I have to make sure I'm not... No, his eyes are blue and white, actually. Huh. Go figure. Yeah, good question, though.
Thank you.
But when that happens, I will need Joel to make a little sanity check right there.
A little sand check?
Just a little sand. And this one's actually going to be hopelessness. It's actually not unnatural in this case.
Okay. 47.
47? Is that it's okay.
Under 60, so I'm good.
So yeah, you just I think you just shake it off a little bit, and maybe a trick of the light. He hasn't turned on all the lights here, so.
I'm sorry. I only tick the box for helplessness if I failed, correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Father, I don't know what you're getting at, but I'm not addicted to anything that I need help with, but I'd be more than happy to keep that in the back of my mind. It's just I'm a busy man, unfortunately, and I'll make sure I'm in here Sunday.
Sometimes I do feel guilty asking for more than a day, more than just the Sunday for people to come worship. But I really think that the community that you build, if you're only doing one day a week, it can be really hard. But whether we could help you, or if you could, contribute to help us, that's what community is. It's that mutual giving and receiving. Just something that I found to be really powerful. I appreciate you, Joel. Thanks for thinking of me for all this, and I look forward to hearing how this one bears out. I just watched that one about the ranch in North Florida.
It's a favorite.
Yeah, that raccoon really gave you all a scare, huh?
Yeah, it did. You don't even want to know what happened behind the scenes with that thing. It didn't stop coming. We had to cut out a lot of extra bullshit. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You're fine. You're fine. No, you're fine.
Yeah. I appreciate it, Father. I'll be seeing you around.
We'll be seeing you. And just like a little bit of a cast of a dark shadow when he says that, but not enough to elicit any sort of sanity roll or anything.
He'll turn and begin walking out the door. And as soon as he gets out the front door, he looks and gets into his car. He looks intently at the water bottles for a good 10 seconds and debates dumping them. He thinks about it for a split second. Fuck. And he dumps 2 of them, keeps 1.
Okay. Good to know.
Just to potentially have someone more inclined to look at it. Just to be safe.
Very cool. Mark, I wanted to ask, what does Cyril do when what was his urgent business?
I think Cyril he goes home, obviously. And I think he feels like there's going to be some sort of like culmination to whatever we're doing. So he goes home and he draws up a bath. And I think he goes through like sort of like a mini purification ritual. Like he washes his body clean. He's thinking about, how they're going to have to get rid of the ghosts in the house. He's concentrating on the organite that Luna had given him. He's trying to do these kind of like pseudo rituals to maybe like get in some sort of in tune with what is happening and what is going to happen so that he's not surprised by anything. And I think we see him in the bathtub and he's scrubbing his body, and he gets out and he kind of stands in front of the mirror as he puts on like a full suit, and he has suspenders and his suit is a nice tie, and he kind of treats this as like robing, like as a priest would robe up before like an exorcism. But since he doesn't have robes, he puts on his best suit, and he grips the crystal in his hand and grabs a small firearm, probably the 9mm, no silencer, and tucks it and holsters it and walks out the door. So he goes through like a purification ritual and a little bit of a consecration ritual.
Yeah. Awesome. I got one question. This will be the sort of final bit for Cyril this episode, which is when he looks in the mirror, how closely does he look at himself, and what does he see?
I think he looks at himself very closely, and he's very comfortable with the way he looks, and he does this. I think he's standing there naked. He's perfectly fine with doing that because he lives alone, and but he looks at himself, and I think as he's kind of looking at his body and at his eyes and at his face and his hands and the organite in one of his hands, and he looks at himself and he looks and he goes, "You're it, Cyril. You are a liberator."
That is where we're going to end for tonight.
God.
We're all having problems over here.
Thank you once again for tuning in to Chaos Springs Eternal Season 1, City of Woe. So last night we actually recorded the first arc finale, kind of. It was a very exciting episode. So I think that's episode 23. This was 21. So 2 more episodes. It gets big. Make sure you tell your friends and family. Go, rate and review us on iTunes. Share this with other people. Hopefully, if you've been enjoying it, they will too. All the links for all of our stuff are in the show notes. Give us a shout out on Twitter if you don't mind, or watch for us in various Discords. Thank you everyone for the feedback we have been getting, and we'll see you next week.
Oh, you fiend. Oh, sorry, I just saw the thing that Drench posted where he looked up Malakota and
Hey, we're not sharing that in the podcast.
Yeah, shut up. That's getting cut out.
Okay.